About that, the video cut off and we haven't been able to film it for another week, so this is just going to be a part 2 spliced in with that, as what usually happens with our camera. Purely because we're technological troglodytes. But the thing is that, yeah, okay, I think that we're in Holsworthy Park now. I don't know why. It's because your mum was cooking Chinese.
Yeah, that, and I thought that this might be a refreshing change.
And refreshing is right. It's absolutely beautiful out here. I would totally recommend this. I always thought that Liverpool was, well, a bit of a shit pit. But
which it is, no doubt, no doubt.
But the nature, it's like the rest of Sydney. Really, really pretty. 98% of the people here are assholes. It's great though. I like this. It seems like we're those really manly travel bloggers that are going, you don't need a lot of money to see the world. Yeah. All you need is a bit of ingenuity and the ability to steal from restaurants.
Yeah. All you can eat buffets. Or we're like, day 7 inside the Amazon. Can you hear it?
Yeah. So I'm so hungry at the moment. I mean, I've got an unlimited supply of space food sticks, but my God, if you've just got banana original, I guarantee you want to invest in the strawberry as well. It gets really boring.
It's not even the heat, it's the humidity that kills you out here.
Which it is, for some reason, it's oddly Singaporean in Sydney at the moment. But let's cast our minds to Europe.
Yeah, let's cast. So the last, I think where we finished off was I was discussing surplus recycling, and which Europe doesn't do because it doesn't have a political union that allows it to recycle its surplus, because there's so much of trust deficit between, let's say, Greece and Germany, that Germany will never be willing to actually use some of its surplus to invest into Greece.
Who distrusts each other the most? I bet you it's Portugal and Spain.
Portugal. I don't think they matter
Still a rivalry
as much.
to this day.
The biggest distrust in the European Union, it has to be like the two big wigs, because the rest of them don't matter as much. So France and Germany.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it is your classic royal family stance where, yeah, they're blood relatives, but it's really nothing in comparison to a crown. Instantly like that. Yeah, you are my son. And I don't want you taking my throne. I'll just make another one.
And they've also hated each other for centuries now. until
Still mad about Alsace-Lorraine, eh?
Yeah,
Get over it, France.
Which is why the European Union doesn't work. Because unlike
too much bad blood to phrase Taylor Swift.
Pretty much. Because, you know, like if like how I mentioned before, the case between, I don't know, California and Nevada. There's no, even though like they have civil wars and shit, but it's still not the rivalry between two states. And so Germany wants to implement a particular form of economic policy in the Europe, and France doesn't actually agree with that. And
who's right?
I feel like, in a sense, Germany is right. They're right.
They're always right about everything. They are at this point, though, right? Like, they had their ups and downs with the First and Second World War, but that was really them sorting it out, wasn't it?
If you can call it sorting it out. Yeah, a very, very lengthy and...
Yeah, but they're perfectionists, right? They're going to get it done right, or they're not going to get it done at all.
Yeah, or they're not going to do it. Okay, fine. So that's what World War II was about. German efficiency.
World War I? Just shameful, frankly.
Just shameful. No excuse. No excuse whatsoever. But so now, these are like the issues that we discussed before and a bit now, but how do we fix it?
Yeah.
Right? That's the question. So what needs to happen is, firstly, coming like immediate fixing, there needs to be a New Deal, like America, because the problems are the same. The problem is that government sets interest rates so that they can increase or decrease investment. They do that by setting, if they lower interest rates are essentially the cost of borrowing money. If they lower it to 1%, more people are going to borrow from them and hence invest. If they increase it, the investment will lower. At least that's the traditional formula that they would be teaching you in your Economics 101. But
Here's Economics 102.
Here's Economics 102, where sometimes it just doesn't work out the way you want it to. So Germany right now has like negative interest rates. And
Well,
yet,
they're giving you money to borrow money.
essentially what they're doing is giving you money to borrow money, so that their idea is that so that they can invest, so people will borrow and invest into the country, and that will create more jobs, and people will earn more, so they'll spend more, and that will increase our standard of living, and that's how we recover the economy.
Oh, awesome. Imagine going to ING where they say, we'll match that home loan, get us a better deal. We'll find it.
Yeah, but the problem is that nobody is still borrowing, because the traditional rule isn't applying, because for some reason, because it depends on like so most businessmen are saying, oh my god, the finance minister of Greece has lowered the interest rate, that means shit's really bad, so I'm definitely not borrowing money now. Why is he paying me money to borrow money? So it's not working that way, which is why my strategy is, or like the way I think of it, is that we can't depend on the private sector to do this. So we actually do government-led investment. It's a risky move because obviously it's going to eat up a lot of your budget. But if we can do that, if we can get, because the government can sort of withstand pressure of, you know, when the stock goes down just a bit, private companies will pull out. The government can, you know, have the balls to actually know, let's stay. Instead of like, you know, crashing the economy once again. So like a new deal with heavy investment from the government. How does that happen? We base that investment on the private market. So let's switch it around. Let's do bailout 2.0. Initially, the private sector needed money, which the government paid. What I'm saying is that now the government is going to spend money on the back of the private sector. So if anything goes wrong, which it won't, because the government's doing it, because the government has ways to fix issues, because they are just making the rules as well. So the government can handle it. But in case for like a surety of investors, we can base it on the private sector, which is completely diversified. It's making huge amounts of money but not spending it. So the savings in Europe are skyrocket. So people have a lot of money in their bank accounts. They're just not investing it anywhere, and the government can use that money.
Does Japan have the same problem?
Yes, pretty much. Japan has like a few other problems as well. Which, by the way,
God, I love how you're able to answer all of these just 3, 4. I know that if I asked my Year 7 science teacher anything about anything that was more than, you know, just like, and when you put bicarb soda in the volcano, looks like it's coming out like lava. If you ask him anything more complicated than that, he'd just be like, don't interrupt, mate.
Don't interrupt.
It's amazing that I could just go like, cast your mind to East Asia and you'll just be like, well, actually, Jordan, it's a little more complicated.
No, because Japan has some inherent disadvantages, which is their population. It's just not, it's not able, like, it can't actually work as much as they would like their productivity to be.
Yeah, it's a land of the Central Coast, aka just total retirement homes, sea to shining sea.
Pretty much. But interestingly, Japan has recently decided to allow immigration. So for all those idiots that were saying immigration sucks, look, Japan's figured it out, they're now doing immigration because they have no other option.
Damn it, I thought they were going to make robots for us.
They are doing that as well, but they still need more people that can do it.
In the meantime. But as soon as the robots are gone, they're going to get the robots because they don't want to look them in the face for it. And they'll just, yeah,
that's right.
Completely emotionless. I cannot harm a person, but I can tell them to get the fuck out.
Yeah, it's a short-term policy, not a long-term.
It doesn't hurt any of the 3 iron laws in iRobot.
Yes, yes. So yes, government-led spending borrowed at the back of the private sector and invested into green and renewable energy, as well as other knowledge sectors which are completely, you know, there's so much to be built on them, and that is clearly the future. And you set these up in places like Greece, Portugal, Spain, Italy that are facing this issue. What that will do is that will create investment in these places. There'll be more jobs. People will have more money, and then they will buy more Mercedes and Peugeots from the French. So that means the French and the Germans are happy because they're getting this money. Greece and Portugal are happy because they're not in acute debt anymore because there is investment, and they'll be making their own money.
And Spain's car, the Ala La Bamba,
and Spain's
still not making any sense.
It won't. But Spain could be like the new powerhouse.
Yeah, but like people still want to go to Ibiza. They just don't have the money, do
Yes,
they?
and they
it's
always
only
have-
us now. It's Bali 2.0 these days.
It always has tourism. They used to say that about Greece as well, but I was recently talking to someone who was saying that their friend had like a place in Greece, like they're ultra rich, and they had like a place in Greece as well. But the last time when they went there, they came back saying that we are not going back there. Like, why? It's getting too povo down there. So, sorry to all the Greeks. True story.
I love it when rich people say the word povo. It has so much more removed distaste for it, which actually just makes it even more comical.
Yes.
I'm really glad, and I think it should actually just be reserved for if you're making over $1 million a year, you should be allowed to say povo. For everybody else, it's still offensive.
Yeah.
That should be the way the world works.
Pretty much. We're
just
losing.
a benefit for working that hard.
We're losing light. We
Yeah.
should probably wrap this up.
That's amazing. Do you reckon that there's actually any chance that that will be implemented by the EU? Or is this just a theory that would be great, but it's not going to happen?
No, I think so. It depends. It can go a few ways. That's one way to fix it. If you're not looking to fix it and dismantle it, it wouldn't happen the same way. But I think what Germany actually, so this is like some other scoop, which is that Germany understands this. They know exactly what the issue is. They're way smarter than me. They know what this issue is. They're not doing it because according to like some insider news, they want to bring their austerity reform to France. So they're gonna.
They did it! I told you, it took them 2 turns, but they finally they've taken over Europe.
Yes, yeah. So it's a new way. But it's necessary because France does need certain reforms. Yeah, France isn't that like innocent either. Do you know when the European Union started? France was one of the countries that were initially they were completely against it. It was like this is going to be Germany's going to take over us. This is going to be horrible. Why in our right mind would we want to go for it? Until they quickly transformed to like being advocates. And what happened was, according to de Gaulle, their initial president, who was pretty famous, he said that the European Union would be the horse cart. The horse would be Germany that would be running it, and we would be at the back.
Where France should be. If anyone's allowed to be mean to horses, it's jockeys and Frenchmen.
Yes.
It's just such a great, like, just an elegant man hitting a noble, pure white steed. Get along, little Elsie. It's the only accent that could get away with it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
No other
So,
accent.
yeah, in summary, adopt that economic management, and France, you've got a free pass when it comes to animal cruelty. I guess we'll see you next week.